we will talk about what is purpose of a business. I worked with this company called ArcelorMittal, and I had the opportunity of working this Fortune 500 company, and I'm sure all of you must have heard of this company. This is the world's largest steel and mining company. When I joined them, I realized that ArcelorMittal became such a huge giant only through the process of inorganic growth. So when I say inorganic growth, what does it mean? It means Mr. Mittal, Mr. Lakshminivas Mittal, he went on acquiring companies world over. उन्होंने क्या किया? पूरी दुनिया की सरकारों से स्टील प्लांट परचेज किए, रेडी स्टील प्लांट, and that is how within less than 2 decades, ArcelorMittal became world's largest steel and mining company. ArcelorMittal makes 10% steel of the world. पूरी दुनिया की 10% स्टील ArcelorMittal बनाती है. तो जब मैंने उनको ज्वाइन किया, पूरी दुनिया में प्रोग्राम दिए, तो मुझे एक सवाल मेरे दिमाग में आया, वो ये कि जो भी प्लांट हमने खरीदे, ब्राजील में लिया हो, रशिया में लिया हो, कोस्टारिका में लिया हो, या अफ्रीका में लिया हो, यूरोप में लिया हो, मैक्सिको में लिया हो, कनाडा में लिया हो, सो ऑल दीज प्लांट्स दैट वी बॉट, यूक्रेन में लिया हो, कजाकिस्तान में लिया हो, पोलैंड में लिया हो, ऑल दीज प्लांट्स वर कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट इन ऑल डायमेंशंस. कहीं पर हम स्टील, लॉन्ग स्टील बनाते हैं, कहीं पर हम फ्लैट स्टील बनाते हैं, कहीं पर खाली स्टील बनाते हैं, माइनिंग नहीं है, कहीं पर माइनिंग भी है और स्टील भी बनाते हैं. सो अ क्वेश्चन केम टू माय माइंड, हाउ वुड मिस्टर मित्तल टेक अ डिसीजन कि ये प्लांट को खरीदे कि नहीं खरीदे? एंड व्हाइल इंटरेक्टिंग विद ऑल दोस पीपल, आई गॉट द आंसर, एंड द आंसर इज हिडन इन दिस क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज पर्पस ऑफ अ बिजनेस? So that is what we will discuss as to what is purpose of a business. We will discuss what is lifeline of a business. As I said, this is going to be completely practical and oriented, so that we are able to excel in our business. So we will understand what is lifeline of a business. We will talk about the profit and loss and balance sheet and the cash flow statement, ratio analysis. We will also talk in terms of power of subconscious, and we will also understand how to make a business plan. और मैं आपको बताऊं कि पूरी दुनिया में जो मैंने देखा है, 90% of the time businesses fail. One of the reason for their failure is they do not make any plan. And please remember, doesn't matter आपकी छोटी कंपनी है कि बड़ी कंपनी है, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. आपकी इंडस्ट्री है कि सर्विस कंपनी है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है कि ट्रेडिंग है कि आईटी है, कि आप मेडिसिन में हो कि आप आर्किटेक्चर में हो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Everyone has to make a business plan. So those who make business plan, they succeed in achieving it, and those who don't, they really run into difficulty in their business. So we will also understand as to how the business plan are made. और फिर से बता रहा हूँ मैं आपको, रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. कई बार लोग मुझे बोलते हैं कि आप तो सब जगह जाके बोलते हो कि फाइनेंस आसान है, बाकी सब लोग बोलते हैं फाइनेंस मुश्किल है, तो आपको नुकसान नहीं होता है. तो मैंने कहा मैं नुकसान फायदे के लिए नहीं हूँ, मैं सिर्फ फायदे के लिए हूँ, सबके फायदे के लिए. सो एवरीबडी मस्ट बेनिफिट. सो वंस दिस फियर ऑफ फाइनेंस इज रिमूव्ड फ्रॉम योर माइंड, यू स्टार्ट एंजॉयिंग इट. सो वी विल आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि बिजनेस प्लान कैसे बनाते हैं. वी विल अंडरस्टैंड वैल्यूएशन क्या है और वैल्यूएशन कैसे करते हैं. आज की तारीख में सभी को मालूम है स्टार्टअप का जमाना है. सो एवरीबडी इज टॉकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ वैल्यूएशन. कैसे मेरी कंपनी यूनिकॉर्न बने, $1 बिलियन कंपनी बने, एंड ऑल दैट. सो वी विल आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कैसे वैल्यूएशन करते हैं और प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट कैसे बनाते हैं, टेक्निको इकोनॉमिक वायबिलिटी रिपोर्ट कैसे बनाते हैं. दिस इज आल्सो व्हाट वी विल डिस्कस. लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज पर्पस ऑफ अ बिजनेस? एंड आई एम श्योर फ्रेंड्स, मेनी टाइम्स you must have heard of all these terms: purpose of business, value creation, profit, growth, sustainability, circular economy, good corporate governance, risk management, responsibilities of startup founders, company directors, promoters, directors, and leadership. इस सब में क्या connection है? I am sure all of you must have heard of these terms 10,000 times so far. What is the connection between all of them? Purpose of business और इस सब में क्या connection? नरेंद्र, क्या लगता है आपको? Is there some connection between all this? And if yes, then what it is?
They're all connected, of course.
Mm-hmm. How are they connected?
Each one is interconnected, and I think so. Each one of the factors which you have mentioned
very good, Krishna. Yeah, Sandeep.
Purpose of business is actually everything lies along with that, because you need to take care of profits, growth, and so to achieve the purpose of the business, so you need to have the sort of structure where the risk management and promoter leadership, this all the countries should be there in the business.
वेरी गुड
Right
संदीप,
purpose.
वेरी गुड. अब तो एक चीज बताता हूँ मैं आपको, फाइनेंस इज लेस अ मैटर ऑफ नॉलेज, इट इज मोर अ मैटर ऑफ एटीट्यूड. तो फाइनेंस का नॉलेज उतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है आपके लिए, मन में फाइनेंस के लिए एटीट्यूड होना बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. मैंने आपको पहले एग्जांपल दिया धीरू भाई अंबानी का, बिल गेट्स का. दे डिड नॉट हैव एनी फॉर्मल क्वालिफिकेशन, बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ मैनेजिंग द बिजनेस, मैनेजिंग द फाइनेंस, दे वर कंप्लीटली पार एक्सीलेंस. एंड ये प्रोग्राम है, ये इस प्रोग्राम में दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू टू मेक यू रियली ब्रिंग ऑन द पेज कि यार ये बिजनेस मतलब मैनेज यानी कि क्या करना है बिजनेस मैनेज में, क्या क्या चीजें जो हमको ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए. व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट ड्राइव एवरीबॉडी अक्रॉस द ग्लोब इन मैनेजिंग देयर बिजनेसेस. रतन टाटा के दिमाग में क्या चलता है, प्रेम आदमी के दिमाग में क्या चलता है, लक्ष्मी निवास मित्तल के दिमाग में क्या चलता है, रतन जेडी टाटा के मन में क्या चलता था. सो ऑल दिस यू नो दिस इज व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव इन द होल प्रोग्राम. वी वांट टू बी ऑन द सेम पेज. सो यस तुषार, क्या लगता है आपको, क्या कनेक्शन है इस सब में?
The purpose of any business is growth and sustainability.
Good. Yes, of course.
And to achieve that, is all this value creation and circular economy, they play a part.
They play a part. Okay, very good, Tushar. Yes, Manoj.
The same purpose to
And-
maximize the benefits and creating the value for the company
Okay.
and for any business.
Any business. Very good, Manoj. Yes, Mukesh.
What I believe is purpose है तो ये सब चीज़ है.
Okay.
If there is no purpose defined, why
Right.
the company exists?
Yes.
Then this is all nothing.
This is all no meaning. Very good, of course. Yes, Siddhi. आप निखिल. Okay. So okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I think all these things are interconnected, and unless we have a common goal, a common purpose, these all things would not fall in place. Or on the other hand, if we take care of all these things, is what helps us to achieve that purpose of the business. So for example, unless we know how to manage risk, or unless we know how to make profits or create value, that purpose won't be achieved.
That purpose won't be achieved. Very good, of course. Yes, Rahul.
Yeah. So business is nothing but a win-win situation
Okay.
between two parties,
Mm-hmm.
wherein unless you generate value for the other party, they are not going to pay you.
Absolutely.
And you need the stakeholders,
Right.
which is your employees, your vendors,
Right.
finally to deliver that value.
Yes.
And that is where the business happens. And then comes the relationship between the two parties. If there is no trust between the parties, there
Yes.
is no business.
Absolutely. Very good, Rahul. Very nice. Sajil.
For me personally, purpose of any business would be like solving a particular problem.
Right.
And doing something which is the best to your ability about it.
Okay. Very good. Best to your ability. Very good. Yes, Pallavi ji.
Yeah, I think all these things which are written over here are nothing but the facilitators to run any business.
Absolutely. Very good. Very nice. Very good, Pallavi ji. Amod ji.
The purpose of business is to understand what to avoid, what to do.
Ah.
It understands when to do, why to do, how to do. So
Yeah.
it is a sort of an umbrella
Mhm.
which secures and promotes the basic human understanding and instincts which are related to all these business values.
Right. Very good. So please join your hands and give a big round to everyone. Very good. Very nice. I'm really so glad with all your responses. Let me tell you, friends, most people believe or most people think that the purpose of a business is to make profit. And let me tell you, if anyone thinks that the purpose of a business is to make profit, he is completely wrong. He is completely wrong. And why do I say this? I say this because if the purpose of a business was to make profit, you will not hear of a company called Google. Why? Larry Page, Sergey Brin, the founders of Google started making profit within very first few years of their operations. And they would have said, purpose of a business is to make profit, we have made profit, purpose is achieved, let us close the business. If the purpose of a business was to make profit, you would not hear of a company called Apple. Why? The Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the founders of Apple, started making profit within very first few years of their operations, and they would have said the same thing. Purpose of a business is to make profit, we have made profit, purpose is achieved, let us close the business. And remember, if the purpose of a business was to make profit, you would not hear of a group called Tatas. Why? The founder of the Tata Group, late Shri Jamsetji Tata, had earned enough wealth from his exports business and from his trading business before he thought of 3 projects. And you know what those 3 projects were? Those 3 projects were: number 1, steel plant; number 2, power plant; and number 3, Institute of Sciences that we know is in Bangalore today. और मैं आपको बताऊं कि जमशेदजी टाटा ने ये जो 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में सोचा, when did he think about them and why did he think about them? So Jamsetji Tata did not think of these 3 projects because he wanted to earn more wealth for himself. Jamsetji Tata thought of these 3 projects because he realized, with the advent of power and with the advent of steam, the way American and European economies were growing, he realized that अगर हिंदुस्तान में कुछ नहीं किया गया आज, तो हिंदुस्तान इकोनॉमिकली इतना पीछे रह जाएगा कि हमको रिकवर करने में 500 साल लगेंगे. And that is how Jamsetji Tata in the year 1902 thought of these 3 projects. और आपको मालूम है, 1902 he thought about them, 1904 he passed away. It was in 1906 his people, his team, his next generation, 1906 they found a place where to build a steel plant, and they built this steel plant, and finally in July 1912 Tata Steel produced steel first time in this country. So if the purpose of business was to make profit, Jamsetji Tata would not have bothered about the steel plant, power plant and the Institute of Sciences, because he had earned enough profit. So that is why, please remember, purpose of a business is not to make profit. And why do I say this? Is because making profit in a business is compulsory. Making profit in business is mandatory. Making profit in a business is not a matter of choice. Making profit in a business is non-negotiable. Making profit in a business is not a matter of an option. Meaning what? Meaning, if you are in business, you better make profit. Are you with me? क्या मतलब है कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप बिजनेस में हैं और अगर आप प्रॉफिट नहीं बना रहे हैं, तो लीस्ट दैट यू कैन डू इज टू हैंड ओवर दैट बिजनेस टू समवन एल्स हु कैन रन इट एंड मेक प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट. और आपकी जानकारी के लिए बताऊं कि आज तो हिंदुस्तान में एक कानून है. देयर इज अ लॉ टुडे इन द कंट्री एंड दैट लॉ इज नोन एज इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड. एंड व्हाट दिस लॉ इज ऑल अबाउट? दिस लॉ इज अबाउट, टुडे हिंदुस्तान में कानून है कि अगर आप एक कंपनी हैं और अगर आप प्रॉफिट नहीं बना रहे हैं, इसका मतलब ऑब्वियसली आप अपने सप्लायर्स को और अपने लेंडर्स को टाइम से पे नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आपको आपकी कंपनी में रहने का हक नहीं है एज पर दिस रूल. तो योर कंपनी इज गिवन टू समबडी एल्स and that somebody becomes the owner of the company, the board of directors are suspended, shareholders have no right. And I am not talking fiction, I am talking hardcore reality. There are hundreds of examples of such companies. I am sure all of you must have heard of a company called SR Steel. Have you heard of? SR Steel used to be a company in this country owned by Ruiyas. Today who owns this company? Not Ruiyas. Today it is ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. They own the steel plant of SR Steel. क्यों? Ruiyas were not making profit, and that is why the lender of Ruiyas, SR Steel, State Bank of India, went to NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, और वहाँ पर जाके उन्होंने एप्लीकेशन फाइल करी. NCLT ने उनकी एप्लीकेशन को एक्सेप्ट किया और NCLT ने तुरंत बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स जो थे रुइया SR प्लांट स्टील के, उनको सस्पेंड किया. शेयर होल्डर्स के राइट्स वर टेकन अवे एंड फाइनली द कंपनी वेंट टू ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel, and where this company is doing very well today. So Mr. Mittal is the owner of that company today. Ruchi Soya, I'm sure you must have heard of this company. Ruchi Soya, again the same story, were not making losses, but not making profit, and as a result of that, company was taken away from Ruchi Soya owners, and now this company belongs to whom? Any idea?
Patanjali.
Patanjali. So now Baba Ramdev owns the Ruchi Soya. So remember, purpose of a business is not to make profit, because profit तो आपको business में बनाना ही बनाना है. मतलब क्या है? मतलब ये कि हमारा माइंडसेट कैसा होना चाहिए? हमारा माइंडसेट ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हम हमारे बिजनेस में क्या क्या करें जिससे कि प्रॉफिट बनता रहे. But that is not the purpose of a business. Then the question is, what is purpose of a business? The answer is, purpose of a business is to create value. Purpose of a business is to create value. And friends, I'm telling you, I'm not saying this for India, I'm saying it for the whole world. पूरी दुनिया में कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कि आप अमेरिका में हैं, कि एशिया में हैं, कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हैं, कि जापान में हैं, कि नेदरलैंड में हैं, कि न्यूजीलैंड में. Doesn't make any difference. Any business, doesn't really matter to what your product is, doesn't really matter to what your industry is, doesn't really matter to what is the size of your company. सब businesses का पूरी दुनिया में एक ही मकसद है, and that is to everybody, that is to create value. To create value. अब मैं लगे हाथ तो आपको ये भी बता दूं कि I'm sure this question must be coming in the minds of every one of you. What is the meaning of creating value? What is the meaning of creation, value creation? And the answer, of course, is very simple. The meaning of value creation is to make this world a better place to live today than what it was yesterday for everyone. For everyone. And that is the value creation. Please remember, being an owner of a business is not a prerogative. Being an owner of a business is not an honor. It's not a privilege. Being a business owner, remember, is a responsibility. It is an obligation. And why it is a responsibility? Why it is an obligation? Because as an owner of business, what am I doing? I'm using natural resources. ArcelorMittal, what do? They make steel. How do they make steel? They make steel by drawing iron ore from the nature. So as a businessman, what we are doing, we are using the natural resources and we are using the national resources. ये लोग क्या हैं? What people are? They are national resources, right? Isn't it? So all the companies, whatever they produce, the company may be owned by Bajaj or Firodiyas or Tatas or Birlas or Adanis or Ambanis, doesn't really matter. But ultimately, whatever these companies make, how do these companies make? Does Ratan Tata, does the N. Chandra or Sanjeev Bajaj or Rahul, Rajiv Bajaj or any of these people, do they go and produce the products? No, it is the people. So since you are using the natural resources, since you are using the national resources, you have an obligation toward the nation and toward the nature also. And that is why being an business owner is an obligation. So what that obligation is, so all the businessmen, they have to work in making this world a better place to live today than what it was yesterday. And that is what is the value creation. But how to do it? How do you create value? And remember, you create value, number one, by converting resources into result and then result into resources. And I'm sure we all spoke about him. He is Jamsetji Tata. So what is the meaning of converting resources into result? कोई मुझे बताएगा आप में से कि जमशेदजी टाटा का जो ग्रुप है, टाटा ग्रुप है या बिरलास का जो ग्रुप है, वो इतना बड़े हो गए, उनके पीछे क्या सीक्रेट है? What is one secret that all of you think? Because ultimately remember, the objective of this workshop is also to ensure that you have the same mindset, what mindset these people have. So ultimately, we need to think the way these people have thought. So my question to every one of you is, yes, how Birlas or Tatas or any other big business empire, how have they become so? What was one secret? Yes, Pallavi ji.
They trusted on their teammates.
They trusted their own teammates, yes, of course, undoubtedly.
They created an employment and made their lives change. These people who were
Very good. So they made employment, provided employment, and made the life changes, of course.
And then made products and which are useful to everybody's life changing.
Life changing. Okay, very good. Yes, of course. Anyone else? Yes, Harit.
They added value to their stakeholders.
They added value to their stakeholders. Very good, fantastic.
They had clear sense of purpose and vision.
they had very clear stance and purpose of a vision. Anyone else?
Understanding the surrounding, the situation, and then deciding what is need of an hour, and that creates the value.
That creates the value. Well, please join your hands. Give a big round to every one of you. Very good. Very good. So remember how all these people, how have they become so big? Did they have any magical band? Of course not. What they had was the right kind of thought process. And what was the thought process that enabled them to reach to this point in their empire? के वो लोग नहीं हैं, लेकिन उनके empires are still growing. So how do you create value? You create value by converting resources into result and result into resources. इसका क्या मतलब है? सिंपल सा मतलब ये है कि जमशेदजी टाटा ने जब पहला बिजनेस शुरू किया तो उनके पास में क्या था? उनके पास में कैपिटल थी. He had the capital, right? He had the money. So what he did with that money? So let's say for that money, what Tata's did, they built a world-class steel plant, right? So you have resources, you have capital, and what you did, you converted that capital into result. Result का मतलब क्या है? You built a world-class steel plant during those days, right? So how do you create value? You create value number one by converting resources into result. Now having converted resource into result, now what do? Do you go to a market, buy a big lock, put it onto the factory gate and go home? Of course not. So what do? Now having converted resources into result, now what you do? Now you start converting result into resources. Meaning what? Steel plant है, steel बनाओ, market में बेचो, market में बेचोगे तो क्या मिलेगा आपको? पैसा. So what, when you are getting money, that means what you are doing now is you are converting result into resources, right? So remember, this is the cycle, this is the secret behind whether it is Birla's or it is Tata's or it is anybody else for that matter all over the globe, of making big business empires, and that is converting resources into result and result into resources. All of you, think for a while. जरा सोचिए कि अगर जमशेदजी टाटा ने सोचा होता कि यार मेरे को जितना कमाना था मैंने कमा लिया और मेरी आगे की 1000 जनरेशंस के लिए भी मैंने कमा लिया है, अब मुझे कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, और उन्होंने ये सोच के उनके बिजनेस को बंद कर दिया होता in 1902 before he passed away, लगता है आपको कि टाटा का नाम आज हम सुनते? आंसर इज नो. बिरलास का नाम हम आज सुनते? आंसर इज नो. सो हाउ हैव ऑल दीज एम्पायर्स बिकम सो बिग? They all have become so big by following the simple mantra of converting resources into result and result into resources. Now what does it mean? Does it mean we only need to know as to how did they do it? No, it means that we need to remember this, कि अगर हमको भी हमारे बिजनेस को बड़े मुकाम पे लेके जाना है तो हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस क्या होना चाहिए? Keep converting resources into result, then result into resources. Now if we keep on doing it again and again and again and again, remember, one day you and I also will become a big business empire like what these are. क्यों? क्योंकि एक दिन ऐसा था जमशेदजी टाटा या घनश्याम दास बिरला, वो भी किसी न किसी क्लास में या कहीं ना कहीं जैसे हम बैठे हैं वैसे बैठे थे. Are you with me? Right? And that is what we do need to remember. Create value for what? Create value for what? Create value for to strengthen the economy of the nation so as to make positive difference in the life of everyone. Are you with me? Right? So this is the purpose of a business, to create value. And why do you want to create value? You want to create value because you want to make a positive difference in the life of everyone. So what drove Jamsetji Tata? What drove Ghanshyam Das Birla? What is driving all the big true businessmen all over the globe? How do I make positive impact on the economy of the nation and in the life of the nation? Another question is how, and that is without causing irreparable damage to the planet. So how do we do it? We do it without causing irreparable damage to the planet. Please remember why. Why? And that is because in life we will have a plan A. Plan A fail हो गया, we will have plan B. Plan B fail हो गया, we have a plan C. Plan C भी fail हो गया, we have plan D. But remember, we only have one planet. So if that planet is gone, we are also gone. So this planet that we have, remember, is not a legacy that we have got for enjoying or for floundering. This is the responsibility that we have received from our ancestors, And the responsibility that we have is we have to pass it on to the next generation, not in the same condition in which we received, definitely not in the worst condition, but in a better condition than in which we received it, and we have to pass it on to the next generation. And that is the responsibility that we have. I'm sure you can understand this is what is growth. Growth क्या है? Converting resources into, the result is growth. Narendra, are you with me? आप capital expenditure करते हो, so converting resources into result. पैसा लगा के फैक्ट्री बना रहे हो, इसका मतलब capex कर रहे हो. Capex कर रहे हो, क्यों कर रहे हो? क्योंकि you want to grow. So this is what is growth, and this is what is profit. अब फैक्ट्री बना दी, अब आप उसको रन कर रहे हो, पैसा कमा रहे हो. That is what is profit, and this is what is good corporate governance. So I'm sure all of you must be hearing this term, good corporate governance, good corporate governance. What is good corporate governance? This is what is good corporate governance. So making your business, helping the economy of the nation is good corporate governance. So अगर आपका business ये कर रहा है, इसका मतलब you are following good corporate governance. And if you are doing this, that is sustainability. So that means if you and I are working for the planet, that is what is sustainability. And I'm sure you can understand this is what is the real circular economy. तो आज जब लोग बात करते हैं सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी की तो बोलते हैं कि रीयूज, रिपेयर एंड रिसाइकल. सो दैट इज हाउ द सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी इज अंडरस्टूड. बट द रियल सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी इज दिस, converting resources into result and the result into resources. Now this is what has really impacted India's economy, because all the real businessmen उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने पैसा कमा के उसको वेस्ट नहीं किया. They flowed it back. अगर जमशेदजी टाटा ने ये बंद कर दिया होता या घनश्याम दास बिरला जी ने आज बंद कर दिया होता था उस समय, तो लगता है आपको कि हिंदुस्तान की इकोनॉमी इतनी स्ट्रांग होती थी आज? एंड द आंसर इज नो. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज योर circular economy, real circular economy. This is also risk management. Please remember, all of us, completely practical, all of us. याद रखने की जरूरत है, the coin called business. The coin called business has got two sides. And what those two sides are? Those two sides are, number one is value creation, and the other side is risk management. Are you with me? Right? So remember, जो बिजनेस चला रहे हैं तो बिजनेस में हमारा फोकस कहाँ होना चाहिए? दो जगह पे होना चाहिए, एज दी ओनर एंड दी फाउंडर. नंबर वन फॉर द वैल्यू क्रिएशन एंड नंबर टू ऑन द रिस्क मैनेजमेंट. अगर खाली वैल्यू क्रिएशन पे ध्यान देंगे, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट पे ध्यान नहीं देंगे, द बिजनेस इज बाउंड टू बी इन ट्रबल. ब्लैकबेरी, why did they close? No focus on the risk management. Kodak, we all know, once upon a time leader in the market, not in the market at all. Why? Because they forgot to focus on the risk management. Right? So many companies are there, and that is what we need to remember. तो अगर हम ये सब कुछ कर रहे हैं in our business, अगर हम ये सब कुछ हमारे business में कर रहे हैं, तो automatically we are achieving the risk management as well. And remember, these all are the responsibilities of startup founders, company promoters, directors, independent directors, business owners, and also everyone else. And this is what is leadership. And this is what is leadership. So anyone who is doing all this, he is being a leader.